amazing girlfriend has not been arrested by the police or thrown in the ground or thrown into jail with roaches and given cheese that looks like it's been sitting there for, 100 years. I feel as though when our lease is up, we need to leave. Regardless of if we have the money or not, regardless of if we have the infrastructure or place to rent, whatever, when we get there, we need to move because
the Bamboo Project Podcast starts in 3, 2.
Welcome to the Bamboo Project Podcast. I decided I'm going to become a billionaire. And on the way there, I'm going to help create 1,000 millionaires, including myself. And not by being a guru or selling a course, but by doing the things I already love to do every day and documenting the journey to get there. I figure I'll make all the mistakes so you don't have to. My name is DonivanGray, and this is how I will turn my life into a living. So first, I'd like to start off by giving a shout out to all the people rocking with us and supporting the channel. We really appreciate you. We are currently streaming on all major streaming platforms such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Anchor, you name it, we on it. And if we not on it, we about to be on it. For everyone listening to this podcast and not watching it, you can find us on YouTube at The Bamboo Project. We have over 380 videos on our channel. You want to learn real estate? We got that. You want cooking tutorials inspired by Dr.Sebi? We got that. Travel and lifestyle vlogs? Got it. You want makeup and hair growth tutorials? Got it. Basketball? Got it. It's everything us. All the parts of the journey that don't make it to YouTube will be on our story, and you can find me on Instagram at DonivanGray, DonivanGray, and my phenomenal, beautiful, amazing girlfriend, AnetaBurn, AnetaBurn. We've made different playlists for all the things we are into, and you can find all of those links in the description box below. This may be your first time here, and if it is, welcome to the family. But for everyone else, this is chapter 2, page 84 of the story. Now, we have 4 different segments: life update, episode playback, Donovan's questions, and the topics of the day. All video and audio timestamps will be in the description box below. Today's date is October 26th, and it is currently 4:53 p.m. All right, first, I'd like to start off with the screen time addiction, okay? That is to let me, my beautiful girlfriend, and everybody else get a time to check in with their phone and see how much time they've actually spent on it, because I know y'all don't know. I know you're not checking it. So here's a reminder. Now, I'm going to start with me first. Now, I just want to say, right, I am very proud of myself because of what I did last week. Now, this week, in the last couple of days, I definitely had a lapse, but last week showed me that I have the capability to improve. And with that improvement comes progress. With that progress comes money. And with money comes freedom. So, excuse me. Let's go into my screen time for last week. Okay, so my daily average for last week was 5 hours and 26 minutes, right? What? Oh, I'll come back to you. Melissa's hating. So here is what I want to say. Like I said, the progress, amazing. Y'all won't even believe this, okay? So obviously last week, Tuesday, was the podcast. That was on Tuesday, and I spent 5 hours and 52 minutes on my phone that day, okay? Now, the day after that, for the whole day, this is Wednesday, okay, October 20th, I spent 2 hours and 50 minutes on my phone, okay? Now, I know it's amazing, I know, but there's more. On Thursday, 2 hours and 50 minutes on my phone. On Friday, 2 hours and 51 minutes on my phone, okay? And then on Saturday, 3 hours and 52 minutes on my phone. I'm breaking records here, okay? Less than 3 hours on my phone for 3 days in a row. 3 days in a row? And then on the last day, less than 4 hours. So, like I said, the first 3 days was kind of rough. It's 8 hours and 54 minutes, damn near 9 hours, 11 hours, and then 6 hours. So, now this week, like I said, has been a little bit rough. I have some reasons as to why I think that, But, here we are. Sunday, I spent 6 hours on my phone. And then Monday, I also spent 6 hours on my phone. And today, which is wild, I'm not even surprised. I'm not surprised at all. It's 4:57 and I've spent 7.5 hours on my phone today. Now, the reason that is because I woke up at 3 o'clock this morning and I was on my phone for 3 hours. Okay, so that attributes to that. And today, Instagram was 2 hours, Safari an hour and a half, YouTube an hour and 20 minutes today. So, like I said, I showed myself that I have the capability to do it. I know what it feels like to do it. And now I just have to get to a point where my body internalizes it and it kind of becomes muscle memory. And I feel like after doing that, it just kind of showed me what I can get done in the day. And even still, as much as stuff I was doing that day, I'm like, damn, I done everything I had to do. What else can I be doing? I can find something else to do. And that's crazy. It's so crazy. I was editing videos, making phone calls, cold calling, editing podcasts, just a lot of other stuff. There's something else too. Either way, I had a list. But regardless of the list, I just want to say 2 hours and 50 minutes on my phone for 3 days in a row. Amazing. Phenomenal. Now, on to my beautiful, amazing girlfriend who told me before the podcast that I shouldn't go to her. But
yeah, don't ask.
Tune into Melissa to hear what she has done for her last week on her cell phone. We're all here for you. Okay. We're here for you, babe.
Fine.
We love you.
My average for last week was 5 hours and 38 minutes.
That's not bad. Oh,
yeah, but you got lower than me.
I don't think I did.
You got like 520 something, 526.
You sure? For last week?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, last week there was no way you was gonna beat it last week.
Yeah.
I was on my phone for less than 3 hours. You hear me go through the whole spiel, Melissa? Less than 3 hours.
Whatever.
So, and listen.
Either way.
You don't want no smoke with me.
So, either way. Mm-hmm. Yes. My most used app. Did you say what your most used app was?
For last week?
Yeah.
It was Safari for 8 hours. For the whole week.
Second?
YouTube for 7.5 hours.
Third?
Instagram for 6 hours.
My most used app.
God damn, Melissa. See, this is why Facebook and Instagram, I already know what it is. This is why they have these new features, this new little shorts. But go on, Melissa. What was your most used app, Melissa? Let me hear this.
My most used app was TikTok.
Oh, what a surprise. It was TikTok. Oh, mm-hmm. And how many hours was it, Melissa, for the week?
9 hours and 57 minutes.
That's not that bad. It's more than me, but it's not that bad. It's 9 hours. That's like an hour. It's
9 hours and 57 minutes.
Oh, so yeah, it's a little bit more than an hour a day. I mean, but it probably wasn't all in one day. So but.
And then next is Instagram.
For how many hours you got?
4 hours and 22 minutes.
That's what I'm saying. That's for the whole week. That's.
Mm-hmm. And then third for me is music. For 2 hours and 12 minutes.
That counts? That's crazy. I have no music on here. I have Turo for an hour and a half. How I get Turo for an hour and a half on my phone. So and Google Maps. I didn't even go nowhere.
That's my screen time.
Oh, okay. What was your average amount of pickups last week?
136.
93. I just want to say last week was phenomenal for me. What was your most pickups?
Like the app?
No, it just says at the bottom, it says most.
174.
I got 138. Like I said, I'm just saying, I tried to what I did was, for me, I put a 3 hour limit on my entire phone. So on my entire phone. So here's the thing about that, which is crazy. I did not know this. So when you do that, right, every different website counts as a different app. So if I go on Google, it'll say, do you want to extend your 15 minutes? But then if I go on Safari, not Safari, if I go on like Facebook or Twitter, whatever website it is, I could be going on nyc.gov and they'll be like, hey, this is your time running out. And I'm like, but I'm on Safari. Like, how are you counting each different app separately, each different website separately? So I didn't know that. But yeah, like I said, I set it for 3 hours.
They're counting it separately or they're counting it together?
They're counting it separately. So one of the first things I want to get to on the podcast is a conversation that I had with my beautiful, amazing girlfriend today. And I believe it has gotten to a point where the current living situation in New York, as in my opinion, approaching the unbearable levels. I think it's getting to a point where they are implementing rules very quickly and they are starting to create a class system based off of who has gotten a vaccination and who has not, right? It's not about freedom of choice to choose whether or not you want to get it. It's about you're going to do what we want you to do. So because of that, I have decided that we are going to Atlanta, right? Now, you have heard this before, right? What the fuck is this? Oh, y'all have heard that before. Here's the difference between then and before, between then and now. Before, we were making plans, gonna get an Airbnb. We were saving up some money, getting a house flip, things like that. And honestly, I believe that I would probably still wait a little bit longer. But I feel as though when our lease is up, we need to leave, regardless of if we have the money or not, regardless of if we have the infrastructure or place or rent, whatever. So when we get there, we need to move, because I feel like, among several other reasons, but my main reason is the freedom in New York is going to be taken away. Now, I foresee some situation where they're going to start pitting the people who are vaccinated against the people who are not fully vaccinated, where it's going to be, like I said before, you have a booster shot, but you don't have a booster shot. So you come to the restaurant, but you can't come to the restaurant. And then the news will say, all these people who don't have booster shots are out here killing us. If they were just to get the extra booster shot, the numbers will go down, right? Before it gets to that point, I feel like we need to get up out of here, right? And go to a place where we can prosper as Black people and freely as people should be able to. So what it's going to look like, different strategies. We haven't really come to any concrete plans. I look at it like this. I've said this before in the past. I do not mind being homeless, right? The reason I don't mind being homeless is because there is a freedom that comes with that. Also, it makes me uncomfortable enough to go, okay, I have to get out of the situation by any means necessary, and I don't want to become complacent in my current environment. So because of that, if I can make myself uncomfortable, then it allows me to become more successful. I believe this is called the hedonic treadmill. Is that right? I think I always say it, but I don't know if it's the right one. It says hedonic treadmill, or no, it's Eustace. It's Eustress. It's one of the.
Eustress?
It's Eustress, but I don't know if that's tied into the hedonic treadmill.
I think a hedonic treadmill is like you can't.
Jamie, pull that up.
It's a hedonic treadmill is basically like every time you achieve happiness, you need something else to be happy. So I don't think it's the same thing.
Okay, well then it's probably Eustress, and it's Karen about to die.
That's eustress.
What is Eustress?
No, I'm saying I think eustress is a good. Eustress is good stress. Like
Right, that's good. This is that.
No.
Well, how is this?
Well, it might be eustress for you. I think it might be something different for me.
I mean, you say that now until you have the stress. What do you call it? M stress, Melissa stress, D stress.
What is it called? Not manslaughter.
Manslaughter. That is wild. Homicide.
Yeah, you trying to kill me. But I mean.
So Melissa brought up a great point. As y'all know, girls, once a month, they have this thing that happens to them, and when that thing happens to them, it would behoove them to have like a bathroom or something, So in my head, I'm like, well, we could just, that too, a shower. So I was thinking, you know what, Melissa, we could go to a gym and you could just, shower in the gym, right? But obviously, I mean, it might work for, it could, but she presented an even better idea. And that is to get an Airbnb for that specific week that she is going through what women go through. She riding her red bicycle. Feel me? So, right. So in my head, I looked at it like this. We go out there, we have a couple of options, right? By then I should have my real estate license, which I will get to because that's a whole nother ridiculous nonsense. So worst case scenario, these are different options, not worst case scenarios. I am a realtor agent. They have this weird situation where they don't like being called agents. I don't know what they actually are, but I would be able to sell and help people sell and buy houses. So I make a commission off of that. Because we have nowhere to live, that would be what I do every day. It's like, okay, I'm about to go out, drive around, cold call. Listen, you want an appointment? I'll come to your house right now. We can have an appointment today. I can have to try and sell this house as soon as possible because my rent and my life depends on it. So I like to live under circumstances a little bit where a little push in my back, a little push. Now, Melissa feels like it's not a little push, but to me, it's like come on, Donovan, go out there and do your best. That's how I feel. That's one option. The other option was, because we're about to finish the house soon, this is great. I'm going to update you guys on that too, because that's moving along pretty well. We should have a lot of credit, right? So I actually, see, Melissa doesn't know this, right? I'm going to tell her this right now for the first time. She's just hearing it. You ready, babe? You ready for this? I love you. And here's why I love Melissa. I'm going to tell you why I love Melissa, right? Because all I told Melissa was, I said, hey, babe, we about to go to Atlanta. And the lease is up. We go. She's like, all right, let's go. Right. So I'm like, okay, I like that. Fuck with that. But here's the thing that makes me love my girlfriend even more. Okay. Other than that, is her first thought was living in a car. Right. That's not my first thought. It's an option. It's possible, but it wasn't my first thought. And knowing my beautiful, amazing girlfriend, phenomenal as well, she's not really fond of the car life other than watching it on YouTube. So my initial thought was to take the credit we have and then get an apartment for like $1,500 a month and pay like 3 or 4 months of rent. And that way we can kind of have some leverage to live in a place. That's what I was thinking. But if you want to live in a car, that's fine with me too. I don't mind living in a car. That helps. It gets us moving around quicker. We don't have to really worry about nothing, because once the house is flipped and we pay everybody back and we'll have the credit that we currently have paid off, we can have enough money to then liquidate it and pay for rent. And I was thinking about something like this, where they have 6-month leases out there. So I'm pretty sure even if we don't have the history to prove it, if we're only doing 6-month leases and we're paying 3 months up front, it's like, hey, look, I paid the whole lease, right? I paid the whole thing right now. And they're like, I bet. You don't have to worry about nothing. Like, okay, cool. Just move in. That's what I like. So we will probably have the money to do that. And honestly, looking at it from that perspective, we might, that would be stupid, but I was going to say we could probably move into a nice building too. But I think that I'm getting ahead of myself. And honestly, it depends how much money we have at the time. It all depends. But these are options that we have. So one option, living in a car, which is an option. Second option is getting the second option is getting an apartment and paying 3 months early. Another option would be staying in an Airbnb for the month, or several weeks out the month, something like that. But it's like I said, it's coming to a point for me where I feel everything getting smaller. Melissa trying to find work to pay off certain bills, and everything said you gotta be vaccinated. We went to get the car detailed the other day. We were like, you know what? It was gonna take 2.5 hours. We went to go get something to eat. They said we can't come inside because we're not vaccinated. So I'm like, I know this is going on, but I'm in my house most of the time. And now there's actually some new rules coming into play with traveling, airlines, and I feel like things are moving very quickly. So because of that, I'm like, you know what? Let me get out of here, right? Before it gets to a point where they're saying, listen, you want to drive across the border of New York State? I'm going to need you to show me a vaccination card. Or you want to go outside to the store to get your groceries? Vaccination card. When it gets to a point where it's like, oh, you want to go and buy food from TJ Maxx? No, which one is this? TJ Trader Joe's? You want to go there? No, you can't go in there. No. We need to see your card at the entrance. Like I said, that's where I see it going. And that's craziness to me. So before we get to that point where it's even harder to leave, I'm like, I'm getting up out of here. I'm going. So that's how I feel. Anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I think you hit everything. Like, I think the most alarming part for me is the jobs, because right now, I work as a production assistant right now when I do work, and the only jobs that I'm getting, I've noticed, are from people. I noticed that are from people who don't live in New York. So it'll be like a Los Angeles filmmaker is the set that I'm working on, a production company that I'm working on. So, I just think that the job situation is kind of scary.
Yeah, like I said, it's getting crazy for me. And I have this weird feeling that things are starting to move quicker, and I don't know if that's because they're getting pushed back, but I feel like they are trying to speed this up even faster than I guess they originally intended. So that could be a good thing that they're trying to rush it, but I don't want to get caught up in it. And another thing too, I've realized, I think that, I don't know, it might have been the airlines or it might have been the hospitals, but somewhere, maybe it was police officers, somebody was saying that they're pushing back the vaccine mandates for certain people. And now I get the feeling that people are going to be upset about that, because now what's going to happen is people are going to go, wow, are you serious? So I got vaccinated and they don't have to get vaccinated? That's crazy. And it's like I said, it's getting to a point where everybody's going to be outraged. And I'm like, what's going to happen then? When people who are vaccinated are mad at other people who are kind of vaccinated, when they change the laws and say, well, you don't have to be vaccinated no more. We changed the rules again. What's going to, I think it's going to be crazy. It's going to be chaos. But like I said, so that's it right now. We are moving, and our lease ends February.
Like 20 something.
Yeah, like 25th, 28th, something around that time. So I think I talked about this before in the podcast, but it's definitely a go. Like, I'm getting out of here. I'm not. I have to be like Joe Rogan. I'm leaving. I'm getting out of. He's in California now. He went to Texas. I'm going to the South, man.
Oh yeah.
Well,
I forgot to tell you too about the Texas thing. They texted me about my follow-up interview. I'm ready to do it. I'm like, then I have to rescind my offer. Unfortunately, I'm not prepared to move just yet. And they were like, do you want to take it out completely, or do you want to move to like our June start date? Yeah, so have they given you a date for Georgia for that? They said no.
They said they're not going to open one in Atlanta or Georgia.
Oh, when they're going to open the one for, no, because they're focusing on Dallas, and they're opening up 2 right now. So it's Dallas and somewhere else.
Oh, because I'm like, maybe they could, maybe nah. Either way, no, it's whatever. The goal is Atlanta, Georgia, and then Dallas, and then Texas after that is the next place on the list. Now, earlier I talked about how crazy my real estate license nonsense is going, right? I talked about the podcast saying, yo, I'm about to get my license by the next week podcast. I'm about to be an agent. I'm about to be out here wholesaling with the MLS. I'm about to be on my shit, right? So then I finish all of my practice exams, finish all my flashcards, finish all my practice final exams, and I'm ready to go. So I decide, how do I schedule my exam? And I thought it'd be something as simple as, let me just go on here and just, I'm using something called Real Estate Express. It's like a school for real estate, online school or whatever. So I figured they'd have like a button that says, hey, apply for your real estate exam here. They don't really have that. So if they do, it's not easy to find. I feel like that should be the main button, because that's the only reason why I'm taking this test. So I thought I would be able to just take my tests and start making money. That's what I thought, at least trying to make money. So I come to find out that I have to schedule my exam, right? So to schedule my exam, I thought I could just schedule it for like sometime during the week. They told me that I would have to apply to schedule my exam. I can't just schedule an exam, even if I pass the course. I got to apply first to then schedule the exam. So, okay. So I go, start looking for information on how I can do that. They say that the application process takes 2 to 3 weeks to then be able to schedule my test. So that means the minimum is 2 to 3 weeks before I can even take my test. So already I'm annoyed, because I'm like, damn, that's damn near the end of November. Like 3 weeks is, that's it. So I go, okay, I still got to schedule it. So I go try and figure out, I'm looking it up. How can I schedule this exam? I look at the requirements for the application to schedule the exam. And they tell me that I have to get a background check, which I'm like, okay, fine. So I go to the PA background check system. But as y'all know, I don't live in PA. I live in New York. So they say in very, 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 very small print, if you do not live in PA, you have to get your criminal record check in the state you live in. So I'm like, okay, this is becoming very much more tedious than I thought it should be. So I go and I decide to go and apply for my criminal record check in New York. Funny enough, I have to also schedule this. I can't just walk in and get my criminal record check. I also can't just get it online. So I'm like, okay, this is silly, but again, I want to get my license. So I start going out trying to figure out how I can schedule it. So I find out how to schedule it. And then they tell me that once it's scheduled, it then takes 2 to 3 weeks to then get my criminal record check. Now, my whole thing is this. That's about 4 to 6 months, 4 to 6 weeks before I can even schedule my test for the real estate exam. So that we're talking about damn near the end of the year, December, mid-December, before I can even schedule my exam. So that's a whole month. A whole month I must just be not doing no course stuff. To make matters even worse, this is just the day in the life of the Bamboo Project. Even if I want to study from now to then, my course expires at the end of this month, which is the main reason why I want to get this out the way as soon as I could, or not as soon as I could, by the end of the month, so I can not have to worry about not having access to keep on studying. So now I have to probably pay money for an extension for the course, and they don't make that easy to find, which is weird to me because I would think you want to make money off of your website. Why would you not put that at the top of the, hey, you want an extension? Especially when the time's coming up, you should put it up there. Oh, you need an extension? Pay us X amount of dollars. Here's your extension. I ain't seen none of that. So now I'm waiting. I have to wait. I think I'm going there on Friday to get my criminal record check. And then it's just nonsense. It's the tedious nonsense of everyday life. I feel it's just annoying. So they have a suppressed and an unsuppressed version, right? Now, I've had some history with the authorities, right? Several situations. I say several. How many is several? Is that more than one or more than three? I feel like several is like 2. I think I've had some altercations with the authorities. One of those instances, I was actually arrested and taken to jail in the city, not prison, just jail. Well, I guess it's called jail. I don't know. Booking. I was taken to booking. That's what it would be called. But I stayed overnight. Yeah, man. Definitely. I definitely have some vengeance in my heart for that guy. I told Melissa when we first met. I said, Melissa, I will not cheat on you, right? But there is one person in the world I plan to fuck his daughter and his wife. And that's the cop that arrested me that day for the nonsense, for no reason. Here's what happened. They said I ran a light on my electric bike, and then they arrested me, threw me on the floor, and called backup. And I remember I lost circulation in my thumb because they had handcuffed me with my book bag still on. Not only did they do that, when I finally got to the precinct, they just cut my straps off my book bag with a knife. I'm like, bro, what are y'all doing? This is craziness. Another thing I thought that was kind of funny. When I got arrested, I'm kind of I don't know if I would say I'm a asshole. I don't know if I would say that. But in my mugshot, I was smiling. And they were furious at that. Now, why would you care if I smile on mugshot? Like, they were like, you can't smile, stop smiling. Don't smile. And I'm like, why do you care if I smile or not? So that just goes to show me there's some psychological, what would you call it? there's some psychological game being played with the mugshot, with the whole interaction with the police. But that was on my record, and I had to plead. They said I was inciting a riot because I was yelling for help when they grabbed me and threw me on the floor. They said I was assaulting police officers. It was, this is what happens when you get arrested. They have this long list of stuff they say you did, and hopefully they go, okay, the judge won't believe that all of these things are wrong, so let's just pick one, even though they all are wrong. They just go, you know what? But there's 6 things here. He couldn't be completely innocent. So let me pick this one right here. This one looks like it's kind of nice. So they gave me I think inciting a riot and some other one. Maybe running a light and maybe like noise or something like that. Something stupid. But either way, I had the option to plead guilty to these things or to not plead guilty to these things. So my lawyer at the time was like, hey, just plead guilty to it. The judge will just be whatever. They're going to throw it out, whatever. Now, in that moment, I was like, wow, this is how it happens. Like, this is how they get you caught up in these situations where even though you didn't do anything, you're like, bruh, do I really want to go through this process and possibly get put in jail or sent to Rikers Island? Because if y'all don't know Rikers Island, that shit's crazy. Now, I'm pretty sure you only go to Rikers if you can't post bail, I believe, but I don't know that for sure. So, do I really want to be sent there? Nah. Do I really want to have to deal with the judge and some situation where they have to go, you know what? I'm having a bad day. Send him to jail. I don't like what he did. He's guilty of that. So I'm like, you know what? Nah. And I think there was time. I think there was actually a minimum sentence. Like, I think that if I lost, I would have had to do some type of jail time for that. And I'm like, bro, really? Over a red light, missing a stop? I'm like, you know what? Fine. If I plead guilty to it and they say they'll throw it out if I have good behavior for X amount of times, what they said, then at that point I should be good. So that's what I did. But now it's technically on my record. However, after it was removed, when I applied for different jobs, before it was removed, I would apply for jobs and they would say I can't work there. Funny enough, Uber in that time period decided to do like a background check on me, and I ended up losing my job at Uber because of that. So I couldn't even work anymore. But then going forward, I applied for another job and it wasn't there. So I'm like, okay, so it's gone. I get pulled over one day by the police on just driving the car, and he actually took to see my ID. So I'm like, all right, sure, here you go. And he comes back to me. He goes, so it says that you did something, but it's sealed. What you do? Now I'm like, why the fuck are you asking me that? Like, why do you care? If it's sealed, that means you're not supposed to see it. That obviously means it's not your business. If it was your business, you would see it. So I'm like, something happened. Like, it was something, whatever. So the reason I bring that up is because I don't know if I send them the unsuppressed version and they go, well, if I send them the suppressed version and they go, oh, we need to see the unsuppressed version. And then because of that mix up, they go, you have to wait another 2 or 3 weeks to send this in. Or if I send them the unsuppressed version and that thing is on there and they go, oh yeah, no, you can't apply for the real estate exam. Like, you can't do that. So that's kind of where I'm at right now with that. It's crazy. This is insane. But on a lighter note, my beautiful, phenomenal, amazing girlfriend has not been arrested by the police or thrown in the ground or thrown into jail with roaches and given cheese that looks like it's been sitting there for 100 years. So what that means is she takes her final exam tomorrow, Wednesday. Melissa will have passed all 4 exams after tomorrow for her appraisal license. So she will be able to become an appraiser. So let's get a for my beautiful girlfriend, because it took a long time, 6 months in, a lot of hours studying, a lot of work had to be done to get there. But one more day and she will finally have completed it. So how do you feel about your last day as what would you call you? You're not even a trainee yet. An appraisal studier.
I'm done. I'm happy to be finished, not for like appraisal reasons, but for like I could do other things.
That's true.
Cause like this last week has been intense.
In terms of what?
So like Donovan said, we both have a deadline for the end of October for our test. So I thought I had till the 31st, which I think is like a Sunday or Monday. So either way, I thought I had till Friday. The location that I'm taking my test at is in New Jersey, and they're switching offices. So because of that, I had less time to complete. How do I explain it? Each test that I take, I just finished the course before I took the test. So it's not like I finished all my courses and I'm just taking the test. No, I have to do the coursework to then get to the test prior to scheduling it. So this is the first time where I'm scheduling a test and I didn't finish the coursework yet. So my test is tomorrow. I still have to finish my coursework today, but
you should be
because
fresh.
of that, I took a test last week, so I had less than a week to finish 15 hours worth of coursework. So I'm over it.
Yeah,
I'm done. Like, once this is done, it's done, and I can do my other stuff.
And like Melissa said, her other stuff. So you know what that means? That means actually I put up a video today on how we did the research to buy our first car for Turo, so we can get some more videos out. Now, I actually have 2 videos in mind I wanted to do. I know I want to do a update on YouTube, you know, how we got monetized, how much we get paid, and then also want to do a video on our YouTube journey, like what we've kind of learned over the course of this time, what we kind of want to do going forward, things like that. I was also thinking about doing some reaction videos because I feel like I watch a lot of stuff and I be reacting in the house and I be like, this is craziness. Yeah, I don't see this. And I feel like I don't know what a lot of people consume in terms of media and content. And if what the people do consume, I don't know what they think about how they consume it. So I definitely was thinking about doing some reaction videos to some stuff because I'll talk about it here on the podcast, but because there's no reference for what I'm talking about, I think it makes it harder to grasp. So I think having the video there to see what I'm actually talking about, you can go, oh, that's what you be watching. Oh, that's crazy. I didn't know that.
Wait a minute.
Okay. So yeah, I think that, you know, there's that. Melissa can finally get back to the candles and start selling candles. It's gonna be called Ember Candle Company. Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Ember, like a fire, like M. But her name is Melissa Burnett, like Ember Fire. I know, it's amazing.
Just so you know, she's planning.
What you doing?
She was walking around your chair trying to find the best.
Bruh, I know you hungry. I know you hungry, but you gotta wait.
She wasn't jump on the back of your chair.
She's looking for food on the floor.
I know.
Yeah, she's not used to being hungry. She don't know what this life is like. She's in her spot. Okay. Yeah, she's not used to this. Her tail wrapped around herself. She probably very uncomfortable. Yeah. So what was I saying? Oh yeah, so the candle company, Turo, we have that, you know, so we can start listing on other companies, on other apps like Hire Car and Get Around or Get to Go or something like that. And
you can check out my SoundCloud.
Melissa's SoundCloud, like I said, so we can finally start to do more creative things. So over the next 2 months, we'll be able to do that. And like I said earlier, because of the whole situation with my license, I won't even be really studying because I'm like, either it's going to be canceled or I have to wait a month anyway. So if I'm going to study, I'm going to wait until I got to take my test and then re-up on my studying. So that's where we at right now with that.
Yeah, we got our first YouTube channel.
Oh yeah, we got paid for YouTube the first time, but you know, just throwing it out there. That'll be in a video that we post sometime in the near future. Now, something else I just wanted to bring up just to kind of notch it off in terms of the timeline of what's going on. I think over the last week is when I finally hit my last straw for getting fat and gaining weight. I've been very uncomfortable for a while with myself. And like I said, I know because of how I view myself being fat and how I think about it, that you can't tell me that other people don't feel like that. Like, you can't convince me that you're a fat person and you don't think about that every day. Because anytime I move, if I turn to the side, I feel my weight. If I sit over, I feel my weight. If I bend back, I feel my weight. The other day, this is the first time I ever remember this happening. And this was like, oh no, this is crazy. I was sleeping in the bed, right? And I was like, I woke up in the middle of the night And I was like, yeah, I feel very, very uncomfortable. Like, what is going on? And I realized I couldn't breathe. And I'm like, why can't I breathe? I'm like, damn, do I have COVID? I'm about to die. I'm like, oh shit, here it is. I'm like, this is the time. I'm making all these YouTube videos, all these podcasts about, you know, I'm good, I'm healthy, and then boom, I die from COVID, right? So I'm like, is it? It's gonna take me out. And I just realized, no, Don, if you're just fat and you lay on your stomach, and you can't do that. So you gotta lay on your side. So I realized when I rolled over to the side, I could breathe. I was like, oh shit, I'm alive. I'm like, I could breathe again. Now, that's crazy. I was laying on my stomach and I'm like, shit, I can't breathe. I'm like, why can't I breathe? I'm like, what the fuck is happening right now? This is crazy. And I'm like, I didn't know what it was. So I'm like, okay, let me like try and like, mind you, I didn't necessarily get up. I just kind of like rolled over a little bit. Like, okay, I kind of feel like I could breathe a little bit. So I'm like, okay, is it my stomach? I'm like, why does it feel so hard to breathe? That's what it was. I'm getting fat and my stomach is impeding on my health. So let's go to the other point that I was just making. Self-esteem is how a person thinks about themselves regularly, what they think about themselves. You can't tell me that you are going in the mirror butt naked and you go, ooh, I'm a sexy. You're lying. You may put that on social media, but you don't think that. You can't convince me that you look yourself in the mirror when you're overweight, out of shape, whatever, you're not taking care of your face, your body, whatever you're not taking care of, your hair, whatever it is, and you look in the mirror and you go, I look good. No, you don't. It's those small thoughts in the back of your mind that just go, oh my God, I want to do this and I want to do that. So for me, that was my wake up call. Like, okay, Donovan, this is getting crazy. Like, there's been days. The other day, I think Sushi, my beautiful daughter here, is her tail still wrapped around? Yeah, her tail still wrapped around her body, and she's laying out. So that's interesting. I think maybe she's on a table or she was doing something. I ran after her. Mind you, we live in a studio apartment. I ran from half the studio apartment, half of it, to the door. I was out of breath. I was like, I was like, shit. I'm like, I gotta sit down. I'm like, God damn, I'm like, damn, I didn't even run after. Bruh, I had to sit down. I was on the phone with my sister, and I'm like, I noticed I was out of breath talking to her. I didn't know why. And it's because I ran after my cat to the door from half the apartment, which is probably like 13 feet. This is crazy. I guess it's insane to know where I came from of playing basketball for 8 hours at a time every day or multiple days in a week back to back to run into the door and I'm out of breath. Like, it's crazy. So like I said, that was my wake up call between that and then last week with the whole social media situation as far as like overusing it. These are my wake up calls. So I need to start. I am currently making changes to that. So at some point, I remember listening to Dante Nero, and he said it all comes down to a decision. Whenever you decide to stop doing something or become a better person, a different person, that's all you need. That there's no magical pill, there's no magical course, it's just, yeah, I'm gonna stop doing that. I'm gonna not do that no more. That's literally all it takes. And then you have to stop doing the thing. That's literally, but you have to decide to stop doing it. And everybody has a different reason for why they stop doing things that they feel like they shouldn't be doing anymore. So for me, it was about to be about to die on my stomach. That was it for me. And then the house update. Y'all know I'm finessing mad money dollars right now. Like, I'm finessing it, and actually things are coming in great. For people who are new, who don't know, or if you forgot what the plan is, I'm gonna run it back for you real quick. So make sure you pay attention. Boom, here we go. We got approved for a very risky, expensive loan that we have to pay back every single day. It's like $80 a day for this loan. It's like $9,700, right? If we pay them back early, they will allow us to get a larger loan from them. Okay. We need money to furnish the house, but we cannot furnish the house until we pay the contractor first. So once we pay him, he does the work. But the lender won't give us the money to do that, which is why we got the money from this loan to do that, to pay the contractor until the lender then pays us. So the plan right now is to get enough money in the account so that we can show to the lender we're making a lot of money. They just want to see that we have money coming to the account. They don't care how it gets in there. They just want to see that money's coming in. So we will take the money that we got from the lender, put it in our bank account, take that bank statement to the lender, say, hey, I want more money. Re-up. I want to triple it up. That's what we're doing right now. And things are going very smoothly. And the framing for the house is complete. Electric was done today. Plumbing is coming up next. Then it's HVAC, which is AC and heating. And then we have the drywall. Then we get the fixtures then we have the insulation. And then we get the drywall. And then we get the fixtures, which is the nice finisher touches on the house. So we moving. Things are moving right now. So I'm happy. But as far as that is the last thing on life update. Now I'm move on to the episode playback. Now, last week's episode, the last topic of the day, I talked about how I, feel that people of this time period don't know what it means to have to fight for freedom, right? I know it's going to trigger people again when I say these words, but people don't know what that means. All of the spoils that we enjoy now was because somebody fought for us to get those things. And there comes a point in time where we will have to do the same thing. And the point I was trying to get across was you may not feel comfortable going out and marching in the street or throwing eggs in somebody's house. I don't think everybody's up to do those different things. But for those people who are not up to those things, there are small things you can still do. If that means retweeting something that says freedom is important, if it means not liking something that is pro mandate, things like that. Those are the kind of things I'm talking about, because I don't expect everybody to have to be on the front lines, but there are other people on the other side like you. So the same way that you can retweet something that says everybody who's not vaccinated should go to jail, you can, and it will affect other people. Other people will see that retweet and go, facts, I feel that same way. Just don't retweet it. Retweet something else that says we should have the right to choose whether or not we want to be vaccinated. That's the only thing I care about. Is like, okay, if I want to, then I'll do it. People have this argument of saying, well, it's mandatory to be vaccinated for other things like school. Honestly, that's not really true. Every school does not require vaccinations, number one. And two, that's only in schools. So they don't tell you when you're a kid that if you have to be vaccinated to go to the store, to go on a plane, they don't tell you those things. They don't ask you for your vaccination, your measles shot vaccination to go to McDonald's. They don't ask you that. So it's not the same thing. And on top of that, when you get the vaccination from before, the whole purpose was so that you don't get measles. That's the whole purpose of it. It was not so you can not get measles less. That's not how that's supposed to work. So, like I said, it's a whole different situation. But that was my whole thing. So I'm like, listen, do what you can, because at some point, like I said earlier, you're gonna be next. Like, you think you're not. You think it's like, okay, I'm doing it for the safety of everybody, but it's really not gonna be that. Like I said, it's gonna be a point where they say, well, you only had a booster shot in the last 3 months. It was supposed to be in the last 2 months. You can't come in here until you go get another shot. So, yeah, another thing I thought about from last week's podcast was that I don't think this has anything to do with anybody's health or safety. The main thing I've said before, it's about keeping hospitals clear so people aren't running in there, sitting in there, taking up other space for other people. And I think there's some type of situation where they're trying to control people. I don't know really how they're going to do it, or I don't know the mechanisms really, but it's obviously a type of game for certain people. At what point do you start to say that conspiracy theories are true or not true? Because if somebody is saying A is going to happen, then it happens. And then they say B is going to happen, and you say, no, it's not, and then it happens. And then they say C is going to happen, and you say, no, it's not, and then it happens. And you go down to F, and you're like, yeah, I know everything else you said happened, but it's not going to happen again. It's like, at what point do you say, let me think about this? Like, you don't have to jump out the window and go, I agree with you, but I think you should at least go, all right, okay, you was right 5 times in a row. Let me at least hear you out about this, because this is getting kind of crazy. How you was so right about all of these things. I don't mean me being right. I mean just people in general who have been saying this. At some point, you got to just go, this don't make any sense. I just read today, I don't know how recent this is or not, but people who are vaccinated still have to get COVID tested to go on a plane and still have to wear a mask on a plane. So it kind of is like, what were the spoils you get from being vaccinated? Are they going to be taken away soon? I feel like they are. With the booster shots, they're going to still get a COVID test and you still got to wear a mask. So for the most part, you still, other than I guess getting a job or working at your job, you in the same boat people who are unvaccinated. You in the same boat. You in the same boat. Other than the fact that they told you it was safe to inject this thing, now they're saying that other people in other countries who have vaccines, those vaccines are not safe to come into America because they don't trust them. But the untested Russia and Chinese vaccines are safe to come into America, even though they are also untested. Things like that make you go, what? That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any kind of sense at all. And the other thing I read today was that Joe Biden put in some new regulation that he no longer wants to have a situation where when you travel, it's closed off by country. He's like, no, I don't want it to be closed off by country. I want it to be a world situation where we are regulating the entire world of who comes into America, not just by which country you're from, which is crazy to me. Yeah, and then the other thing about this was that y'all are familiar with the war on drugs. Y'all know, some people probably don't know. People do, some people probably don't. The war on drugs pretty much arrest everybody who's on drugs. That was the war on drugs. If you're on drugs, arrest them. If you're selling drugs, arrest them. That was it. There was very little empathy to the people who were on drugs, or the reason why people were selling drugs in the first place, which I still don't necessarily agree with, but there was less empathy for both of them. As you see now with situations where they say, oh, the person overdosed on fentanyl or Oxycontin or whatever, it's all different like drugs that people who are taking who are not necessarily in the hood. It's a different framing of how dangerous they are. So I compare this very similar to how they have this war on COVID. War on anything is all about money. If you think about any war, whether it's here, another country, war on drugs, it's usually, okay, how can we make money off of this? It's not about the health of people. It's not about protecting us from this crazy other country. It's okay, they got something I want. How can I take that from them? And I feel like the war on COVID is the same thing. It's not about the safety of people. It's like they have something that I want and I want to take it from them. That's how I look at it. But that was also I need more energy for my intro. Another one too, because I felt like in the beginning of it I was like kind of like not energetic, but I felt like I was. I thought I was, but I wasn't. So here's one topic. I have two topics for the day. One topic is it was just about like social media, right? And I was thinking about this. I don't know why people don't do this. I'm curious if anybody else have thought about this or wonders why they don't do this either. Kylie Jenner has like 196 million subscribers on Instagram, right? If any other company had that many followers or customers, they would be a huge company. Imagine a company that has 200 million customers. That's a lot of customers. I'll say move. I'm gonna say 20%. What's 20% of 100 million? That's 40. So let's say it's 40 million. If 20% of 200 million people were to able to buy something from her, which is probably why she might be a billionaire, sort of, that is bigger than a lot of companies that we know now. right? So that's just her. So my thing was this. People have a problem with social media, how it's run by Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and so on and so forth. The largest creators or large influencers on these platforms have the ability to make their own platform, because everybody is coming to the platforms. Do you think there are more people following them or following their friends? Do you think that Facebook and Instagram and these social media platforms will be able to survive without those people at the top? Like, take out everybody that has more than 1 million subscribers, 1 million Instagram followers.
I think that it's possible, but I don't think their structure allows for that to be the most, like, the highest and best use for that. Because it's like, I think a lot of people go on it now to see what celebrities are doing, to be either inspired or just look at things that they like or dislike or whatever. I think the discoverability of people on Instagram is harder. You said friends and family? Like,
the only people that you would follow would be people that have, like, people that you kind of know.
Yeah, so that's what I was thinking. Because I was thinking in terms of, like, how would you build a following, starting from there. But I think people would still use it to see what's going on with other people that they know or love. I think they would.
Right, but my thing was, do you think Facebook and these companies could survive off of that? Without these other behemoths, like, take everybody that has 1 million subscribers or 100,000.
You say survive, you mean like run its business model?
Yeah.
Probably not.
So I'm thinking my number is 100K. Anybody with 100K or more followers gets wiped off the map. They're not on the platform no more.
How do they? Because how does Facebook or Instagram? They make money off of ads. Probably because they can still put up the ads anyway. So probably.
So my thing is this: how many people would still be on the ads on the platform if the people they wanted to follow were not on there? Because I don't think, me personally, I don't think that I would be on social media as much if I could only see 100 people.
But we don't interact with anyone.
So what do you mean?
I feel like because I don't really interact with a lot of people, I'm less inclined to kind of see what people are doing, and then sometimes my friends gonna post.
That's my point.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, there are people who are on the platform who are posting because it's a job. They have to post regularly. They're trying to gain a following, so they're gonna post more. But if I go on the platform and it's only you, my mom, Neffy, people I play basketball with, I don't think I'm gonna be on there as often. Because I feel like there comes a point in time where you're gonna want to look at the Shade Room. You're gonna want to look at the ESPN. Yeah, I think there comes a time where people are going to want to see those other people, those idols. So people that, whether it's companies too.
Yeah, I think there's people that keep the app circulating.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them, the posts on my feed that I see currently are sponsored, or like when I say sponsored, like Instagram puts it there from somewhere else. Like, it's not knowing that I follow at all. Just things that I might be interested in or hashtags I might be interested in. That's what they put on my feed. And I don't know if it's, like I said, I don't know if it's because people aren't posting. Because I feel like even when people post, I don't see it.
Yeah.
So it's like.
Yeah, so like I said, I'm wondering what would happen if, let's say, you had Beyonce, Rihanna, Taylor Swift, Justin Bieber, Selena Gomez, all the Kardashians say, you know what? We're going to make our own social media platform. We will not use Instagram, whatever, unless we're promoting our platform. So I'm like, how many people could they get over to that platform? I think they could get.
But what would they do on that platform? Like, they would just interact with their content, or
it would be the same thing they do on Instagram, just on those platforms. So I would post my life just on those platforms. I have a new song coming out, it'll be on those platforms. So you want to find out, you want to follow me, you can only follow me on Celebrity Gram. So I'm like, You know, because I feel like then it has a situation where people can actually spread across the power that the people on the platform have. And you know, situations where everybody's like, oh no, you know, they're censoring me and I can't do this and I can't do that.
Trump's coming out with his own thing.
Yeah, with truth. Yeah. Something like that would be interesting. So I'm pretty sure there's more logistics to it as far as who's on the platform and, you know, the rules and stuff like that. But I would be very interested to see if they were to do something like that. And then the last thing I was kind of thinking about over the week was that the other thing was food. People feel like, okay, we want to make the food taste better. We want it to be even better. And it's like, after some point, the food doesn't need to be that good because it's not good for you. There comes a point where there's an equilibrium where it's like, okay, the food should be in the middle, because the better the food tastes, it's like a scale, because now the food's probably not going to be as good for you. You start thinking about how they do with the you start thinking about how they chemically engineer the food. The food that tastes the best are the ones where they only isolate all of the best components of the other food that you like. So you like ribs and steak and, I don't know, applesauce or something. They go, okay, I know you like this part of the rib, this part of the applesauce, and this part of the steak. I'm gonna put it all together and give you that, right? And it's like, your body needs the other things in there other than just what makes it taste good. And I feel like that's a common trend I see with anything across. I don't know if it's only America that does this, because I haven't really studied other countries, but I see it prevalent here. That after a point, nobody goes, okay, that's enough. I've done enough. And I was listening to a podcast where they were talking about business. And what was the podcast? I forgot the exact podcast, but the premise was this, that there is no situation where, or it's a very minimal situation where a business owner would have extra money left over and give that money, all that money, to the employees and pay them more. Because a business owner would go, okay, no, that's not even it. It was that I would not hire new employees. That's what it was. If I am making $100 a week, right, and I have 5 employees, I'm not going to hire another employee if they're not going to make me more money. Just because I have more money does not mean I'm going to hire more people, because my incentive and my goal is to make more money, not to go, okay, you know what? I'm good at this amount of money. Let me spread it around to other people and let everybody else have some money. I don't need them to have money, but I have so much money, I'm going to just give it away. And I feel like a lot of people who don't have a lot of money feel like this is what should happen. They feel like, okay, you have X amount of dollars and you should give it to me. So I'm getting tired. I'm about to wrap it up. So I'm like, I forgot where I was going, and I'm like, I can feel myself waning. So I'm about to wrap this podcast up. So that wraps it up for this podcast. We will be back here next Tuesday. Okay, all of our behind the scenes content you can catch on our social medias. Mine is DonivanGray, DonivanGray, and my phenomenal, beautiful, amazing girlfriend AnetaBurn, AnetaBurn. All right, you know what it is. Hashtag Bamboo Project 2021. We going up all year. You know the vibes. And with that being said, Bamboo Project out.